guys, Rick Denham here, X Factor Tackle Pro Staff. I'm going to go through a little bit on how I like to rig up my stick weights for bobber donging. If you haven't heard of bobber donging, it's a newer style out there that's essentially drift fishing under a float, and that utilizes the float to keep your presentation from necessarily snagging up as much. Your lead's going to be able to be pulled out of the rocks and not drifted right into them with the belly in your line. So, and these stick weights in particular, because they're thinner in diameter and on a wire shaft, they're a lot less prone to getting wedged between a rock. And if you guys have followed Dwayne England out there and Bill Herzog and a couple of the articles in local Salmon Trout Steelheader and some of the other magazines out there have covered making these and talked a little bit, but I found a little trick that I really liked, and I'm going to also use this on my other pencil lead, is these heat shrink tubing. You know, you can get, I think, 4 feet of it for $1.30. So I picked up some here in this 1/8 inch, and this is the hollow core that I'm using, 1/8 inch hollow core. You get that at Sportco, Outdoor Emporium, all those different local shops around here in Washington. And essentially here what I'm doing is I'm creating this stick weight, putting the heat shrink tubing over the end, and then trimming it off. And what this is going to do is going to create a slick end to this that's not going to get all wedged and be able to stick to those rocks. As you all know, that fish pencil lead, you bang it around the bottom for a while, it's eventually going to start to get pretty sticky, and it's going to find a way into a rock. So what I usually do here is I pull out the right amount of length to one of these wire shafts. And these wire shafts are pre-made. You can pick up local packs, like this one was $1 for 6, or you can actually get your own stainless steel wire for spinner shafts and create your own. It's all up to you, preference-wise. It's pretty easy when you already have these made up for you. But then you're going to pull out your 1/8 inch hollow core, cut it to length, and you're going to thread it on the shaft here of the spinner wire. So I'll go ahead and thread it through the end, put that on, and so now I have a tag in there, and with that tag in, it allows you to then pinch it and rotate it up and over, and then you're just going to grab it with your pliers and fold it on down. Now, this is normally how many people will fish it, and this is deadly effective. Eventually, though, what I've noticed is that wire shaft is going to get nicked on the rocks and eventually kind of start to pull itself apart and become back straight. Well, what ends up happening there is you're going to end up having this lead slide off that wire shaft. And it's not a big deal, because then you can just pre-cut some of your 1/8 inch hollow core, and you can put another piece on and then pinch the wire back over, all done and said. But this heat shrink tubing allows that basically to go out of the picture. So I thread this back over here, then I'll get a lighter or something, the heat source wise, heat gun in particular is what I like to use, and I'll heat this thing up, and then it's going to compress tightly against it, and really that's all you need. Trim the excess off, and you're fishing. So if you guys haven't tried it, very effective way. You could even use these in smaller sizes if you want for drift fishing, or you can even make them with 3/16 hollow core, or even quarter hollow core, and then use the same deal with the heat shrink tubing, and make some pretty effective drift fishing rigs. And tell you what, I fished these all day long and haven't had them hang up at all. So they're very effective. I love them, and the bobber donging technique is something that's catching fire right now. So if you guys haven't tried it, give her a look at some of those articles. There are some videos on YouTube. I want to put one together myself. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you. But thanks, guys. Take care, and God bless.